Life in the UK Test. Chapter 5, Part 1. Disclaimer. This work is independent and non-official. It is a free help based on Life in the United Kingdom, a guide for new residents, 3rd edition handbook. December 2015. Chapter 5, Part 1. The UK Government, the Law and Your Role. The Development of British Democracy, the UK Government, the Law and Your Role. Chapter 5 goes through the development of the democratic system in the UK and the constitutional institutions that comprise it. It provides information on the Queen's roles as head of the state, the members and functions of the House of Commons and the House of Lords, the roles of the Speaker, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, as well as how the electoral system works and how elected members can be contacted. It also presents the powers of the Welsh Assembly, the Scottish Parliament and the Northern Ireland Assembly. The international institutions that the UK has joined over the years are introduced later in this chapter, including the Commonwealth, the European Union, the Council of Europe, the United Nations and the NATO. Moreover, a review of what criminal law and civil law are, is given together, with examples of them. Chapter 5 then explains the role of the police force and their duties, and the different court systems that exist in the UK, as well as their functions. Attention is also given to the fundamental principles of the European Convention of Human Rights, and how laws for human rights are applied in the UK. This is followed by an overview of the taxation system in the UK, to include income tax and national insurance, and by what is required to drive a car in the UK. The end of this chapter explains the role of British citizens and residents of the UK, and the different ways by which people can get involved to support their community. The development of British democracy. The UK is a parliamentary democracy, with the monarch as head of state. This section will tell you about the different institutions which make up this democratic system, and explain how you can play a part in the democratic process. Democracy is a system of government, where the whole adult population gets a say. This might be by direct voting, or by choosing representatives to make decisions on their behalf. At the turn of the 19th century, Britain was not a democracy as we know it today. Although there were elections to select members of Parliament, MPs, only a small group of people could vote. They were men who were over 21 years of age, and who owned a certain amount of property. The franchise, that is the number of people who had the right to vote, grew over the course of the 19th century, and political parties began to involve ordinary men and women as members. In the 1830s and 1840s, a group called the Chartists campaigned for reform. They wanted 6 changes. For every man to have the vote. Elections every year. For all regions to be equal in the electoral system. Secret ballots. For any man to be able to stand as an MP. For MPs to be paid. At the time, the campaign was generally seen as failure. However, by 1918 most of these reforms had been adopted. The voting franchise was also extended to women over 30, and then in 1928 to men and women over 21. In 1969, the voting age was reduced to 18 for men and women. Study materials. All chapters from the study materials are Crown copyright and have been based on Life in the United Kingdom, a guide for new residents, 3rd edition handbook. All photos are borrowed from wikipedia.org under the Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 3.0 unported. This work is independent and non-official, prepared in December 2015.